Hey guys, what's going on here? Back with a new video. I've been posting a lot of shorts recently. I haven't been posting a lot of full videos, but I thought I'd post one on a Apache guide. So this is Battlefield 2042, and I'm back with an Apache guide. So what I like to, this is number one my favorite map for helicopters. I number one push the enemy spawn, try to kill people. I don't know how bad the splash damage is on the smart rockets, but it's pretty freaking bad. And then I use the smart rockets and the air-to-air heat-seeking missiles. Those are my personal preferences. And sorry in advance for the Xbox app. My Wi-Fi has been pretty bad today, especially playing 2042. It would just randomly do the reconnecting thing. So I use the big cliff, so I don't have to always use my flares, and I try to get out of the way to find cover and try to heal back up. If I get locked onto or if I'm taking a lot of damage, I usually dive down. And after I try to kill these people and mildly succeed, I immediately go for the enemy helicopter or helicopters up, and I try to destroy those or do damage so that my teammates can finish them off. Because if I'm successful in taking down one, then that gives my team the relative advantage. Now A1 always seems to be a very common fight. There's always big fights. The Americans usually hold it at first, but then the Russians usually come in and take it. So I hang around A1. There's always a wildcat that sits in the back, FYI, and it bothers you if you're playing against bots. It's freaking annoying, but I just hang around A1 and then sometimes I will dive, but usually I'm just staying in the vicinity of Bravo and Alpha. Those are usually my spots. Sometimes I will leave for other reasons, but I like to stay around that. I just know that place best. So I try to, something that you have to learn to do is to bait flares, which is you just lock onto somebody and then just hold a lock. So just zoom in basically and then just hold a lock for say 5 seconds, and if they don't pop flares, they probably don't have them. And then you can go ahead and fire, and then in between that I usually fire my regular rockets to see if I can get some little damage here and there. And then I try to bait lock again, and because then if they didn't have them the first time, they should the second time. They used them the first time.
Our troops are advancing on Alpha 1.
Sorry, they shouldn't have them the second time. So you basically just have to use the cooldown to your advantage when you're firing missiles. Now sometimes people will wait until they have been fired and they get the notification to pop flares so that they can't be baited, but really just do this with all missiles. This isn't just an Apache thing. The ground-to-air missiles, like the rocket launcher, do that, then do that with all the vehicles. Just try to bait the flares. Another thing is countering the Russian transport. You really just need to stay above it, because if you're below it, I don't know if it was in this game or not, but I accidentally went below it, got freaking destroyed, because all of them were able to shoot at me at once, and it was not pretty or fun at all. So you have to try to stay above them and just dip down, fire some rockets, and then try to bait the lock. So either stay above them or just stay far away so that they can't really see you that well or hit you that well. But never be directly below them or within the vicinity of them while you're below them, or else you will just get destroyed. Now to counter the frickin' stealth helicopter. If they're in stealth mode, just leave them alone. The chances of them hitting you are very low. If you can, fire smart rockets at them here and there, or just your rockets, but really it's not that worth it. And you can also switch to the 30mm and try to shoot it. Or you can just do this either way. You can just switch to the 30mm cannon and then shoot for a little bit and then jump back in the helicopter scene. So that's one strategy. But another thing for stealth helicopters is just if you damage them enough, or if your teammates damage them enough, it kicks them out of stealth mode, and then you can easily get a lock. And 90% of stealth heli pilots do not have flares unlocked because they're like you get like frickin' 200 or 300 kills with them. So a lot of, at least on my level, a lot of stealth heli pilots don't have flares, so then you can just get a lock, and then you're just fine to get a hit as long as they don't break line of sight. Now jets, I do not personally worry about jets because if I'm able to get one lock, they usually pop flares, and the time I see them again, which is about 20 minutes later, they already have flares again. And they can't really do much to me because a lot of jet pilots aren't good enough. But if they are, I start to worry about them. Most of the time, they're just kind of flying around, just being a big distraction. And if you're trying to counter the other attack helicopters, just do unconventional things. Like, what they expect you to do, don't do it. Like, if they expect you to try to get a lock on instantly, then just don't. Then just try to fire smart rockets and dodge their first two, and then you can hit them. And then try to, like, not bait flares, because they might not see that coming, stuff like that. But also, if you do not have flares and there's a missile being launched, do the craziest stuff possible. Go upside down, go left to right, like, do the weirdest stuff so that hopefully the lock just, like, the missile doesn't hit you or just gets distracted. And if there's a lock on you, you can do a little bit of stuff, so try to break that. But if you're just getting baited and you know it, then just don't do anything. Just save your flares until they've been shot off. But you basically just have to find weird angles that you can use your missiles to your advantage. Like, I shoot through this window on Bravo 2, and I don't believe I actually get any kills. But you can still try to shoot through there and just try to add some pressure, get some free kills. Now, I make the mistake of going beneath. I believe this is a super high transporter. But I got shot pretty quick, and I get kind of disoriented. I'm not really sure where it is, because the radar is not the best. And then I get shot again. And this is where you see Battlefield 2042 making a lot of sense. So I make one big mistake. I back up to heal, like I almost always do on this map, right? But I forget that I have a gunner. So I heal, and I look at a place where I can set this down, and I can just chill out for a second. I can, like, look at my phone, just do something else while I heal up. So I go to set it down, and then I switch so that the helicopter blades go off. And then I forget that somebody else was now in the pilot seat. So I try to land it again. But I have to go forward a bit, and I put the right down first. You see, I go into the flip, which is pretty hard to pull out of. And then this happens.
Majority of sectors under our control.
Like Battlefield. What even is this? I go through the fence and I just sit there. Like, and then there's just a frickin' floating sign. Like, I don't know. Helicopters do. I can't play helicopters for very long because they just are so glitchy. Like, my helicopter blade just went into the ground and nothing happened. Like, it's just so freaking glitchy, the physics and the mechanics. It just makes no sense to me. And this sign here is undestroyable, apparently. But helicopters are fun, but they get very, very glitchy and weird when you get close to the ground. Like, my helicopter blades were clearly in the ground. They were still there. If I would have came off, you would have seen them. But anyways, please subscribe. I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers. Please like, share, whatever. I would appreciate it. And I hope you guys have a good night.